Hey, line walkers, it's Jamie from IToldYouIWasSick.com, and I have a new autism video for you today. Only this one is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be not something that was originally on my list, but it's definitely something that I would like to talk about. And what I'd like to talk about is my inability to know where sound is coming from. Now, I don't know if any of you have issues with knowing where sound is coming from, or like you hear a sound, but let's say you hear your name being called and you turn around and it's like, yeah, but the person's over here and they're looking at you like, what is wrong with you? Like, I'm calling your name and you're turning to the left and you're turning to the side, but I'm over here, like, or I'm behind you. So I have had this problem my entire life where I actually have super hearing in a way because of the way my senses process things. I'm not really sure how to put that exactly, but sound enters my ears just fine, and my brain translates the sounds in a weird way. So either something will sound much louder to me than it sounds to other people, but in addition to that, I also don't know where the sound is coming from. So it can be really, really frustrating. Like today, I was just sitting there at the kitchen table and I heard somebody continually click their car alarm button on and off, and it was driving me nuts. And I'm looking out the back window because I swear to God, it's in my backyard. That's where my brain is telling me that the sound is coming from. So I look in the backyard, there's nobody there. Well, sometimes my landlord actually does drive his truck into the backyard, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that that could be happening. So I get up like 3 times and I'm looking out the back window. There's nobody there. There's nobody on the other side of the street. I do not hear I don't know where the sound is coming from, and it makes me crazy. I don't like hearing something and not knowing the source of the sound. And I don't think I realized that I had this problem until a few years ago, actually. I am working with someone who is also on the autism spectrum on a comic book series called Autism versus Aliens, and I will link that in the bottom so you can check that out. And I remember when I was first working with Dan, about 3 years ago, there was a sound or something, and I turned around, I turned the wrong direction, and I guess he doesn't have this problem, and he was just like looking at me weird, and I'm like, what? He's like, the sound is coming from over there, and I was like, and then all of a sudden, everything just sort of made sense all at once, and I said, you know what? I don't think I know where sound is coming from. And so I closed my eyes and he started to snap his fingers like around me, and I picked the wrong direction every single time. So that explains a lot of why I'll hear a sound and I'll turn around in the wrong direction, or someone will call my name and I'll be like, hello, like, we're over here. And people who don't know that I have this kind of processing issue, which I didn't even realize I had, will sometimes think that I'm joking around, or, that I'm not really paying attention. And it's like, Jamie, over here. And I don't know where your voice is coming from. I'm sorry. I have no clue. And it can be very frustrating. And it doesn't happen very often now, mostly because I don't leave the house much. But it doesn't happen in kind of enclosed spaces where there's people talking. I usually know where that's coming from. But when it comes to stuff outside, I can hear people talking because my window's right by the street, and I can hear people coming up the road and I can hear them talking. And I swear to God, they're going past the house, and I look out the window, there's nobody there. Well, there are people. It's just that they're like way up the street and they're coming down this way, or they're going, like, I'm looking this way and they're actually coming from a totally different direction. They're actually there, but because I'm looking in a different direction, it looks like I'm hearing things that aren't there. And I've had that problem before. Now that I think about it, I'm like cocking my head to one side listening, going, do you hear that? And the other person's like, they don't hear anything, but they do. It's just that in their brain, it's translating correctly. So they know what the sound is. They know where it's coming from. But because I'm putting my ear to the totally opposite side, it seems like I am just randomly hearing things that aren't there. So it's really interesting and kind of frustrating to have super hearing where you hear noises so much louder than they are to neurotypical brains, but you can't tell where the heck the sound is coming from. I don't think I have too much more to say on the topic. It's just something that I've always dealt with, and I guess I've compensated for it in my own way without realizing it. But I am really curious to see if other people have the same problem. Are you on the autism spectrum and you notice that you hear sounds, but they're just not coming from the right direction, or you respond to the left when it's coming from the right, or to the right when it's coming from the left? And I'm just curious how many people have this, if you have any kind of sensory processing disorder, and also if you have a child with who is autistic or with sensory processing disorder, and you call their name or you make a noise, and or they don't quite, they seem to turn around and look in the wrong direction for the sound. If you have that issue, if your child has that issue, that could be some of the problem. Some of what's going on is like the sound is getting in there, they're hearing it, but they don't know where it's coming from, and it's disorienting. So your child may hear you calling their name or trying to get their attention in some way, and they know that the sound is coming from somewhere, but they can't orient themselves and find you or find that the source of that sound. So that could cause frustration. I think that's all I have to say on the topic. This, again, is a bonus video. I have a bunch of other videos that I'm doing in a series called Why Autistic People Do That, but I wanted to do this one as a bonus because I think it's important to talk about. And I think that this kind of auditory processing disorder can actually really, really affect someone's life in a negative way, especially if they don't know how to articulate the fact that they don't know where sound is coming from. And it can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of communication issues and a lot of frustration, meltdowns, crying, what have you. So if you know somebody on the spectrum and this seems to be a problem for them, show them this video. If you are a parent with a child on the spectrum, maybe this helps you out a little bit. So hopefully this did help you. I'm going to leave a link to all the rest of the videos in the description below. And I'm going to sign off for now. Happy New Year, and I will see you in the next video.